Let's play a game. I'm gonna make a prediction about you right now, and if I get it wrong, comment below telling me that I'm wrong, and I'll reply admitting that I messed up. But if I get it right, you have to subscribe. Alright, you ready? I'm predicting that right now, you're either sitting or lying down. Now, why am I so confident in my prediction? Well, a lot of us work sitting jobs where we sit in some cubicle or behind some desk all day doing something mentally strenuous, until we could go home and relax by yet again sitting or lying down. Or maybe you do something that requires you to stand or walk, but on your breaks or when you get back home, you yet again are exhausted and need to relax by sitting down. Point is, we live a very indoor lifestyle, and as a result, we don't have many opportunities to go outside and walk, to experience the sun and wind, as our philosopher today would say. Now, the obvious retort would be that life is too demanding and busy. Sure, if my job was to be a surveyor like you, Thoreau, and I got to go out into the woods as my job, I'd definitely take it. But modern life requires modern sacrifices, and unfortunately, that means not going on many walks into nature. Well, in this video, I'll let Thoreau make his side of the argument, to try and convince us to use our limited free time to actually go on walks in nature. Let's begin. Firstly, in a historic sense, walking is carrying on a tradition that was around in the Middle Ages. There were these saunterers back then who would roam around, live off of charity, and go to the Holy Land. There were also horse riders who would gallop across the lands in some sort of heroic crusade. Thoreau finds himself carrying on this tradition, obviously not in a literal sense, but more of a spiritual sense. The chivalric and heroic spirit which one belonged to the rider seems now to reside in, or perchance to have subsided into, the walker. Not the knight, but walker, errant. I think this really makes sense when we talk about ideal walking to Thoreau. A walk in the woods, coming across new places and exploring new horizons. I took a walk with a friend in the woods once, and somehow, we came across a mini golf course. Now, this is a man-made thing, and Thoreau may not like that, but it was still a unique and fun discovery. And it did make us feel like pioneers discovering new locations. But you may not be as spiritual as Thoreau, and want some more practical reasons to go on walks. Well, Thoreau acknowledges the great effects it can have on one's physical and mental health. The physical benefits are obvious, although I hear you could overdo it without proper hydration and nutrition. But to Thoreau, one doesn't walk simply for physical benefits. There are obviously much more effective ways for you to get that beach bod ready for summer. Rather, it's just a natural byproduct of walking. But the real benefits come through mental health. The mental health benefits are a little less obvious, but nonetheless important. As we talked about in our last video on Emerson, being out in the woods, or in this case walking in the woods, comes with the benefit of being free from the effects of humanity. There's no boss yelling at you, there's no online commenter saying that you look like a mosquito, there's no influx of advertisements showing off big titty anime girls publicly and unashamedly on YouTube for some reason. There's only you, your thoughts, and the untouched natural world. Now, obviously, thoughts and anxieties could follow you into the woods, but even if you let your mind wander to these thoughts as opposed to the beautiful scenery around you, there are yet again no man-made influences messing with your thoughts. In the isolated woods, you can address these thoughts head-on, truly authentically, with no one whispering in your ear. And this is all assuming you don't get caught up in the experience of walking in nature and leaving those worries behind. I think that I cannot preserve my health and spirits unless I spend 4 hours a day at least, and it is commonly more than that, sauntering through the woods and over the hills and fields, absolutely free from all worldly engagements. So we have one spiritual reason to walk, and we have two practical reasons to walk. Now let's talk about a reason that's a bit of a mix of both. Thoreau believes that taking walks in nature builds a certain roughness of character. He doesn't elaborate on this too much, but I might be able to see what he's saying. When you go on walks in the woods, you get dirty, you get sweaty, you might get tired, you might even trip or hurt yourself in some way. Point is, your body experiences discomfort and uncleanliness, but by experiencing the discomfort, this makes you more tolerant of discomfort. You don't cry over getting dirty. After all, you get dirty every time you go out into the woods. You don't cry over, okay, well if you break a bone then yeah, you're crying. But you're perhaps less likely to make a fuss about a scrape or a cut when you've experienced these things many times before. Walking in nature, while beautiful, can get ugly for your body, but this equips you with a fortitude to withstand that ugliness in future occasions. Now, those are the more practical reasons why taking time to walk in the woods is important for Thoreau, and I'd like to ask you if he's convincing. I'd like to really emphasize emphasize this mental health reason that we briefly also touched on in our last Emerson video. I mean, meditation is pretty universally accepted as beneficial, but it could also be very difficult and require a lot mentally. Walking in nature is maybe not the exact same as meditation, even if there is such a thing as walking meditation, but it does seem easier to me at least. So comment below if Thoreau has convinced you, or if you're already a walker, or if you disagree with him and why. While you're down there, be sure to subscribe, like, and hit the bell. And with that, I wish you all a beautiful rest of your day.